Well, thank you all for coming to the Godfather Minute. My name is Alex Robinson.
My name's Andy Robinson.
And together we are the Godfather Minute Brothers, talking about minute 127. 127.
That's right, Alex. Repita. E minuto.
E minuto.
Numero.
Cento.
120.
127. 127.
120.
127.
You got it.
Oh, thank you.
Let's go have a drink.
Yeah. Well, now you've had your drink.
Now that you've had the drink and you pronounced the word, let's get to the minute.
All
that comedy you're playing with pronouncing in the minutes, it's getting to your head.
We're talking about minute.
I want you to rest. I want you to eat. I want you to practice your minutes. And then in a month, you'll be able to...
It's funny you say that because my voice is weak. I don't know if you probably hear me coughing. And
in a month or so, that big shot Oxford guy at Oxford will give you a shot pronouncing words for his dictionary.
Mr. Professor Oxford will call you up.
I couldn't remember his name. Isn't it Merriam-Webster?
Is
that a guy? Merriam-Webster?
I think it's two guys. One guy's named Merriam and one corporate entity named Webster.
Yeah, one of them wrote the words. The others had to write the definitions. Who got the short end of that stick, Alex?
Just made up a bunch of gibberish words. And the other guy's like, I don't know, the little things at the end of your shoelaces?
We just made them all up. So minute 127, what do you got?
Well, here's a little summary, just for those of you following along at home. Where it starts off in Sicily, where Mikey is preparing to leave his idyllic hideaway, when suddenly the car explodes. Suddenly the car explodes on the causeway, and Apollonia is dead. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Don kicks off the meeting of the five families, and he talks to Barzini. Now
awesome.
we said we're gonna try because you said the book has a lot of stuff about the families and stuff.
That's right.
So we're gonna try to save most of that for when we actually see them in the coming weeks.
There's so much in the book about this meeting with the five families that I'm also going to talk a lot about it today, but not get really into.
This is all pre meeting.
Exactly,
business.
It's pre-discussion. Okay. It's all set up.
Yeah.
What do you got about the
let's start off about Sicily.
Mm-hmm. Sicily.
One thing I thought was interesting was I don't know if Mikey is dabbing his nose.
Yeah.
Because don't forget isn't he supposed to have like a deviated septum or something because of his injuries?
Drainage problems.
Drainage issues.
They call that.
Yeah. You got drainage issues, son.
They call him the drainage Don.
Don Drainage.
If you ever call him that.
Sounds like a star, like Darth Drainage. Sounds like it would be a good Sith name. So
every time I get a good new nickname, they go right back to the old one.
Drag me back into the sewer, literally.
I wonder if that nickname has anything to do with sleeping with the fishes. Don't call him Don Drainage.
Oh yeah,
you'll be sleeping with the fish. Fishes know how to drain the river out to find your body.
Because you will be sleeping with the fish.
The fishes. Drained.
They call him Drink because he's the guy who finds other bodies that people think that they've hidden away. So you don't want to piss him off because they'll be like, "Oh yeah, well you better keep your." Anyway.
That sounds like a job for Paulie.
Oh, Paulie, you won't see him no more. So Fabrizio, we see.
Yeah.
And what do you think about the actor's acting, and what do you think about Fabrizio's acting?
I guess we have to start with the character.
Let's start with
that credible? Is that how Fabrizio, the actor, or the character would behave?
So he just sees Mikey and then just kind of like nervously looks around and then runs away.
Well, I think he's walking away, not quickly, but then Michael calls to him, and then he looks back and starts running away.
Right. So
And that's when Michael wises up.
so
I think it was a good move.
for Fabrizio.
Yeah, not the overall plan, but just walk away.
Yeah.
And then, maybe not. Maybe you think he should have played dumb? Because Kahlo died in the explosion.
He does?
He does. That's revealed in the book.
Oh.
So he could have blamed Kahlo. He was far enough away to not be injured.
Carlo was.
No, Fabrizio, I'm having second thoughts. Maybe Fabrizio should have just stayed there.
I mean, like, whoa, what the heck?
Kind of started walking away casually. When then Michael calls to him, and he turns around and goes, "Yeah, boss, yeah,"
Yeah.
because he already sees Apollonia about to start the car.
Right.
And then Apollonia would have started the car. Carlo would have died because he was right there. And then Fabrizio said, "Oh, boss, I can't believe Carlo. What a traitor! What a traitor!"
Wait, so Carlo dies in the book?
In the book,
Because he's near the car. Because
Yeah.
in the movie, he seems like he's far away. He's carving apples in the little
No,
room
but
there.
in the very beginning of this minute, you do see him bringing the bags.
Oh, that's
to
right.
the
He says,
car.
"Oh, I'll get the
Yeah, but
bags."
you're right. When she turns the car on, he's no longer in the frame.
Right, maybe
But he's
behind the car.
he's close enough by. He does die.
Well, maybe that's why Fabrizio does run, because he knows the car is about to blow up.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I don't want to get hit by
it was
get caught in the
yeah.
explosion of the, or she drives the car over to the, no. Trying to
Well,
wave
what
her
would have
off.
been if Michael caught you right outside the villa, and he says, "Why did you run?" What would have been your excuse if you were Fabrizio?
I'd be like, "Oh, lady driver, you don't want to be in the same area as a lady driver."
I go to get more wine from Don Vitelli for you. I run as a gift.
I'll be back on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
No.
No. So
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he didn't play it so well. How about? Do you think Fabrizio?
I don't know. I don't know
That's how he
what
should
the
have
ideal
reacted?
way you should do in that situation. I guess I would have been kind of almost like if he called your name, don't even look back.
Yeah.
Because that way you're like,
Yeah.
oh, did he not hear me? Did he, and then by the time the thing blows up, then hopefully you're in the clear or whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you can always play dumb, like, oh, I didn't hear you, boss. The sound of the car blowing up was too loud.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But he also thought that Michael was going to be in the car.
Yeah.
So he probably just learned that Apollonia was the one in there and about to turn the key.
right, you probably saw
else
them loading up the car, and then was like,
Yeah.
oh boy. So that part of it was a bad plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because knowing that Apollonia has been taking driving lessons and is a show off and so on.
English lessons, driving lessons.
And to show he's not cold hearted, he should have done it when he was more sure
Yeah.
Michael would be in the.
Yeah. Oh, that's tough luck.
So was his plan to kind of do like what you said, like blow up the car, and then if Mike was still alive, be like, "Oh, boss, they totally sabotaged you," or was he just like, "I'm out, like, I'm just going to stay with the Dr.
I don't know what his plan B was.
Because we know he, at least in the extended version of the Godfather, the saga, we do know that he survives and goes to America.
Yeah. He ends up in
Fabrizio.
Buffalo, I think.
Yeah,
right?
and Michael both wind up moving to.
I do think the actor did a good job.
Yeah.
He was convincing.
Yeah, it's always tough when you're playing like someone doing something not smart, because you're like, if you're gonna play convincingly, then it can look like bad acting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a fine line,
Yeah.
the fine wine.
Yeah, I think his plan was probably he had already made a deal to move up in the world by agreeing to this plan.
Yeah,
So he probably didn't have a plan B. He's probably just, I'm going to set this bomb and then move on and have this better job, whatever he was going to be. I wonder if he was promised a job guarding another American in hiding in Sicily, but it was someone who would pay more or something. Is he stuck in that band of What I'm asking, is there a glass ceiling for shepherds with luparas?
Well, the problem is if the word gets out that you're famous for betraying the people you're supposed to be watching, then not many people are going to. I guess then the only people who would want to hire you are people who want to betray the person that they're supposed to be, and seemingly get off scot-free. Although, so
maybe was his plan all along. Whoa. Maybe he was.
It was Barzini?
Maybe seriously, maybe he was a plant all along.
Yeah, why would he wait so long? That's the issue.
That's true.
There certainly have other opportunities to kill him. And
those are the outtakes, all the failed attempts.
It's like Wile E. Coyote, just always trying to do all these things and it never works out.
It's like, boss, do you like that girl? He looks over and it's actually a guy dressed in a girl's costume with a rifle ready to kill him. It's like the Sicilian Luca Brasi.
Arthur, he's, what about that? The lady over there, does she strike you? And then it's just like a pile of dynamite with a dress on. So then he'll go over there and look and investigate. I don't know what you're talking about, Fabrizio. I'll show you. I'm going to show you. I'll go. Blows up.
Oh, and he keeps getting. It's like truly Wile E. Coyote. So, do you think Fabrizio, I can't believe we're still talking about Fabrizio, do you think he puts this on his resume and he just embellishes it, says, or does he lie about it, saying, I took out an operative in hiding, high level
I don't think it's something you would put on your resume. It's tempting because...
I don't mean in America when he opens the pizza shop.
No, like when he goes to, because again, I think once you got word that you kind of were screwing people over, there'd be less. So I don't think he's going to want to put it on his resume.
Yeah.
If anything, he might be more like, oh, I just did a good job protecting him. I protected him for 8 months before they finally got to him. Do you know how good I am at my job?
Yeah, no, I protected him for
like
8
Chico
months.
Marx. I kept him alive for 8 months.
8 months. All the way to 8 months. Boss, then you know what happened? He fired me.
I killed him. Anything else? So just for those of you keeping score at home, Apollonia, Paulie, Sonny, all have had car related deaths.
Oh yeah.
And the Don got shot in a car, on a car. So maybe if he'd gotten in the car, he would have gotten killed, but because he was just on his way to the car, he survived it. So,
and that's not the end of the car deaths, as we'll see in the next
that's true.
dozen minutes.
Yeah. So, now I guess we can get to the meeting of the 5 families.
Well, before we do that, can I talk about the book stuff with the car blowing up scene?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of stuff here. Okay, items of interest. Let's see. Puzo writes, Michael went down the stairs. So this is right before it blows up. Mm-hmm. Michael went down the stairs and decided to go through the kitchen to see Filomena. Remember the old crone?
Mm-hmm. She's the one who was the nurse to Luca Brasi.
She destroyed Luca Brasi's child.
Right, at his insistence.
Sure, yeah.
Didn't he make her throw the baby in the thing?
Yeah, he did, yeah. So she's there. She's at the villa. Michael went down the stairs to see Filomena again and give her a final farewell. He asked the old woman, is Dr. Taza still sleeping? Filomena's wrinkled face was sly. Old roosters can't greet the sun. The doctor went to Palermo last night. Michael laughed. Yeah, so pause. What is that?
The what? Old roosters don't crow?
Yeah.
Well, because
explain that
he's an old man, so he doesn't get up with the sun anymore.
Oh, that's what it means.
That's what I'm guessing.
He sleeps in.
Yeah, he sleeps in because he's an old rooster.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Doctor sleeps in.
He puts the Z's in Taza.
Yeah. Okay, Puzo writes, the kitchen door... so the bomb goes off. The kitchen door shattered into fragments, and Michael was hurled along the wall of the villa for a good 10 feet.
Wow, that was a much bigger explosion.
Yeah, much bigger. Stones tumbling from the villa roof hit him on the shoulders, and one glanced off his skull as he was lying on the ground.
Gook. Oh,
bam! So he took a beating here. Puzo writes, so this is later. He came to consciousness in a room that seemed very dark and heard voices, and one of them was Dr. Daza. Remember, he really is a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So so Michael's starting to get figure out what happened. Michael, without knowing he did so, so Don Tomasino's there and tells him that pretty much Fabrizio had done it. Michael, without knowing he did so, smiled. It was in some strange way, a chilling smile of assent. Don Tomasino said, Fabrizio has vanished. Listen to me, Michael. You've been unconscious for nearly a week.
What?
Yeah. Do you understand? Everybody thinks you're dead, so you're safe now.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. He's going to be like RoboCop or something, where they rebuild him.
Yeah. They rebuild him
Robo-Don.
They rebuild him as Don Drainage. You're safe now. They've stopped looking for you. I've sent messages to your father, and he sent back instructions. It won't be long now. You'll be back in America. Meanwhile, you'll rest here quietly. You're safe up in the mountains in a special farmhouse I own. The Palermo people have made their peace with me now that you're supposed to be dead. So it was you they were after all the time. They wanted to kill you while making people think it was me they were after. That's something you should know.
Wait, what?
So do you remember in a previous minute I explained that Don Tomasino kept traveling away from the villain? He kept coming back and saying, oh, these young people, they're like riding me. They don't respect anybody, and it's become dangerous, like threats on my life.
Yeah.
Turns out they're actually been after Michael the whole time. And Don Tomasino didn't pick up on that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been obvious, right?
Yeah, right. Don Tomasino. Old Mustache Pete's. They wouldn't have been able to put... They wouldn't have... You know where I'm going with that.
He's as good of a protector as Fabrizio.
Yeah. As for everybody else, leave it all to me. You recover your strength and be tranquil. So then Michael was remembering everything now. He knew his wife was dead, that Carlo was dead. So that's where Puzo writes that. Filomena wasn't hurt. We learned that.
Michael's, great. The 1,000-year-old lady who survived.
I know. The baby dies. Apollonia dies. Carlo dies. She's blessed. Yeah. Touched by God.
For killing the offspring of Luca Brasi. She was blessed with eternal life.
It's the devil's deal she made. Michael said, Fabrizio, let your shepherds know that the one who gives me Fabrizio will own the finest pastures in Sicily. So he puts a price on his head. Would that be worth it for you, Alex? The finest pastures in Sicily to go find Fabrizio, hunt him down?
It seems a bit vague.
Yeah.
Like I would want I would want something more concrete.
What do you mean?
Well, first of all, cash money is always the best thing to get.
Okay.
Because you don't know if it's like, oh, thank you for helping me. I got you this pasture, this 8 meter by 3 meter pasture, and you owe 20,000 Sicilian taxes on it. You know what I mean? Like
Well, here, thank you for bringing me Fabrizio. Here is a deed to the Palermo City Bridge. You now own it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I guess if you have some land you want to get rid of, and you're like,
yeah, that's right.
I can write it off.
Yeah, it's something, right?
Ransoms are rewards and ransoms tax deductible.
Oh, good question.
We ask, we'll answer.
And then let's see. So Puzo writes, Dr. Taza sat on the bed and said almost absently, "You know, you're a widower. That's rare in Sicily." As if the distinction might comfort Michael. It's a funny joke. I like this Dr. Taza.
Yeah, I'm warming up to him.
Yeah. Michael motioned to Don Tomasino to lean closer. The Don sat on the bed and bent his head. "Tell my father to get me home," Michael said. "Tell my father I wish to be his son."
Ooh. Is that the ambulance coming?
So a little timeline ending to this chapter. Puzo writes, but it was to be another month before Michael recovered from his injury. So a week he's been passed out and another month recovered.
Wow.
And another 2 months after that before all the necessary papers and arrangements were ready. Then he was flown from Palermo to Rome and from Rome to New York. And all that time, no trace had been found of Fabrizio.
Oh.
Yeah, and they even, to help find him, they even talked to Barzini.
Whoa.
So that's the end of the
so he's in Sicily for several more months.
Yeah.
Wow.
And remember, he was there for up to a year even before all this took place.
Yeah.
So I think his Sicilian's pretty good. But he's still draining his sinuses.
Do you think that's why
show how
start
strong
drainage?
McCluskey? Yeah, just goes to show how strong McCluskey is.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh man.
Yeah, so long.
What do you think he did during that time? Did he just hide out? Did he go on another walking trip? Did he look for another? Did he get thunderstruck more?
Oh yeah, he was thunderstruck about 15 or 16 times.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, Apollonia was just another fish in a barrel.
That's why he's like, oh man.
That's why he doesn't seem. That's why he moves right on to K when he gets back.
Oh, I guess I'll go back to K.
What to K? I'll go back to Consolation K. So moving on to the meeting of the five families.
The meaning of the five families.
I've got some more stuff from the book, but do you have some stuff?
Sure. Well, the exterior of the building you see there is the Federal Reserve Building in Manhattan, which is still standing. You can go see it if you want, and to imagine a meeting going on there. But the interior was filmed somewhere else. It was filmed in the boardroom of the Penn Central Railroad, which was also in Manhattan at the time. So if you look in the background, you'll see there's murals of trains behind them on the walls. And it's because they're in the boardroom of a train company.
Wow.
So
in the book, Puzo writes that there are murals of famous
trains.
Men from finance, including Alexander Hamilton.
Oh, because they know the kids love him these days. He's so popular.
Yeah. Look, Puzo was ahead of his time, pointing out one of the more popular founding fathers.
Wow, there's a lot of money in Hamilton. Maybe not now, but maybe 10 years from now.
Totally.
Oh, we got to do our Godfather musical.
Yeah, we've already got tons of bits and numbers. Would that really be so hard to do?
No.
We can definitely write it. We've written it.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Almost a third to a half of it already.
Yeah.
But to actually do and carry out and have performed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the more
that's a lot, right?
I guess for the start, we would, if we were to do like a performance, we would have to, I guess, coerce a bunch of people to do a reading or whatever with us. And if we wanted to get actors or whatever. But if you really wanted to, we could, I bet within a month, we could put one on.
Yeah.
A low budget.
If anything, we could do a local Portland, just a local Portland kind of indie thing. Yeah. With real cheap sets. Oh, absolutely. We could do it. Corleone. We're talking down with Don Corleone.
There's a Star Wars play. I think it's called One Man Star Wars, and he reenacts all of Star Wars. Just one person on stage tells the entire story of Star Wars.
Oh, that's low budget.
Yeah. So
one guy.
I'm saying if that's your. Anyway, we'll talk about it. This is more bonus content.
Okay.
Yeah. So speaking of bonus content, I was reading a Marlon Brando biography.
Oh, cool.
And the bonus content for this week, I was going to say I have 10 factoids I learned reading the Marlon Brando biography. So,
awesome. That's exciting. I don't know much about him.
Yeah, so if that sounds interesting to you, go to godfatherminute.com/support, and you can, for about $1 a show, you can get longer episodes than usual. Did your dubbing alert go off in this minute where they show the exterior of the building and you hear Don Corleone going, I want to gather all the five fellas?
No, it didn't. Do you want to initiate an overdub alert?
Yeah, to me, it definitely sounded.
Overdub alert, overdub alert, overdub alert, overdub alert, overdub alert, overdub alert, overdub alert.
Wow, awesome! I'll initiate that alert anytime there's even a chance, dude. I love that. That sound effect.
Well,
is
to me,
awesome.
it almost sounded like it wasn't even Marlon Brando doing it. Like it was someone else doing or he was doing it at a later time and not fully, in. It just sounds weird to me. The overdub line.
Interesting.
So,
I'll go back and watch that.
Keep an ear out for that.
I'm a big fan of the overdubs.
Yeah.
This used to be a train station. It's supposed to be a bank. What kind of security we got around here?
Well, that's all the notes I have for this minute.
Well, I got tons from the book.
All right, I will lay down, take a little nap over here while you.
It's fascinating stuff too, because there's not really much revealed in the movie about this.
No, other than the names of the guys and the fact that one guy came as far away as Kansas City.
Yeah. So in future minutes, we're going to talk a lot more about the people at the meeting. This is really just the setup.
Cuneo.
What's that?
Cuneo.
That's right. So when Don Corleone was planning this meeting, all the other heads of the family were suspicious.
Of course,
because they're at war. Don't forget.
Yeah.
So in order to calm them, he called on the services of the Bociccio family.
The ones who negotiators.
The negotiators, yeah. So we talked a little bit about this at the time when Sollozzo was shot. It's fascinating to me. Let me read a little bit about it. Puzo writes, the Bociccio family was unique in that once a particularly ferocious branch of the mafia in Sicily, it had become an instrument of peace in America.
Whoa.
Once a group of men who earn their living by a savage determination, they now earn their living in what perhaps could be called a saintly fashion.
Wow.
The Bociccios' one asset was a closely knit structure of blood relationships, a family loyalty severe even for a society where family loyalty came before loyalty to a wife.
Wow.
Don't forget that, Alex. You and I are blood. Right? So let me read to you how it works, because it's fascinating. It's not rocket science, but it's fascinating. Puzo writes, when warring families wanted to make peace and arrange a parley, the Bociccio clan was contacted. The head of the clan would handle the initial negotiations and arrange for the necessary hostages. For instance, when Michael had gone to meet Sollozzo, a Bociccio had been left with the Corleone family as surety for Michael's safety, the service paid for by Sollozzo.
Yeah,
I assume Don Corleone is paying for this service now, because he's the one that's guaranteeing the safety.
Yeah.
If Michael were killed by Sollozzo, then the Bociccio male hostage held by the Corleone family would be killed by the Corleones. In this case, the Bociccios would take their vengeance on Sollozzo as the cause of their clansman's death.
That's if
So we're back to
Michael.
Sollozzo's. Yes, if Sollozzo killed Michael, kind of defying the agreement.
Oh yeah, because he's the one who broke the contract.
Yeah, then the Corleones had permission to kill the Bociccio hostage.
Yeah.
Which then initiated the Bociccios taking the vengeance on Sollozzo.
It's Sollozzo's hands.
Yes, because they triggered the death of the Bociccio.
Can't they just couldn't they just say, okay, Sollozzo killed Michael, and okay, Bociccios, now you can go kill Sollozzo, but why does the negotiator have to get killed?
I think because
some blood has to be spilled?
Because that's what makes it so serious, and that's what triggers their instinct to avenge their.
So if it wasn't that, they'd be like, I'll do it next week.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they weren't offering us that much money anyway.
Got it, I see. Okay.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
Let's see. In this case, blah, blah, blah. Since the Bociccios were so primitive, they never let any kind of punishment stand in their way of vengeance. They would give up their own lives, and there was no protection against them if they were betrayed. A Bociccio hostage was gilt-edged insurance.
Nice.
And so Don Corleone got a Bociccio so that all the families would come in peace. There could be no question of treachery. The meeting would be safe as a wedding.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So Puzo writes a little bit about the setting of the scene. Hostages given, the meeting took place in the director's conference room of a small commercial bank whose president was indebted to Don Corleone, and indeed some of whose stock belonged to Don Corleone, though it was in the president's name. The president always treasured that moment when he had offered to give Don Corleone a written document proving his ownership of the shares to preclude any treachery. Don Corleone had been horrified. Why do you think, Alex?
Because there was a mouse.
Puzo writes, quote, I would trust you with my whole fortune, he told the president. I would trust you with my life and the welfare of my children. It is inconceivable to me that you would ever trick me or otherwise betray me. My whole world, all my faith and my judgment of human character would collapse.
Whoa.
It's like he's talking to Bonacera again here. Of course I have my own written record so that if something should happen to me, my heirs would know that you hold something in trust for them. But I know that even if I were not here in this world to guard the interests of my children, you would be faithful to their needs.
Hmm.
A little peek behind the Don Corleone curtain, right?
Yeah.
Always keeping records.
Yeah.
But not insisting on them.
But does it say, does the guy say how did that start? It was a breakthrough moment, or he was touched by it, or what was how did it?
Oh, Don Corleone was horrified.
No, but how did this whole thing come about with the bank? They had it at the meeting of the small bank whose president was indebted. Then what does it say?
Well, the next part talks about why they have the meeting at this place.
Right, but
yeah. So this was before all this. So Don Corleone got stock in the company.
Yeah,
and then the president of the bank was giving him a written record of it.
No, I understand that, but how does it describe? I thought it described something about like he.
Oh yeah, because the commercial bank whose president was indebted to Don Corleone.
Yeah, keep going.
And indeed, some of whose stock belonged to Don Corleone, though it was in the president's name.
Yeah.
The president always treasured that moment when he had offered to give Don Corleone a written document.
There you go. So he always treasured that moment. So he offered it to him, and then Don was like, "No way, man!" And then the guy was like, "Oh, wow, he really trusts me." And, so it's nice.
Yeah. Although he admitted he had a written record of it, which kind of takes away a little bit of the gesture that he trusted. Like, I trust you, but I do have a written record in case so my heirs will know. But I do trust you.
Well, he trusts him, but his heirs don't trust him.
Yeah. He blames it all. It's my consigliere. He doesn't trust anyone. He makes me have a written record.
Never get a German-Irish consigliere. That's my advice to you.
Well, if it were me, I wouldn't take the written record, but it's my consigliere.
No problem with me, you understand.
Yeah, makes no... The president, Puzo writes, the president of the bank, though not Sicilian, was a man of tender sensibilities.
Aww.
He understood the Don perfectly. Now, the Godfather's request was the president's command, and so on a Saturday afternoon, the executive suite of the bank, the conference room with its deep leather chairs, its absolute privacy, was made available to the families.
Nice.
And so I think it's very telling that this is happening at a bank.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
a bunch of mobsters in a bank in probably Midtown Manhattan somewhere.
Right. It's like a political cartoon come to life.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, Alex. Security at the bank was taken over by a small army of hand-picked men wearing bank guard uniforms. I'm guessing maybe Don Corleone provided security,
or the Botticellis provided,
or the Bociccio.
Yeah.
Doesn't say. Besides the 5 families of New York, there were representatives from 10 other families across the country, with the exception of Chicago, that black sheep of their world. They had given up trying to civilize Chicago, and they saw no point in including those mad dogs in this important conference.
That's funny.
Isn't that funny? Another part that Puzo writes about, a bar had been set up and a small buffet.
So they don't say who the names of all the
whole rest of the chapter gets into that, which we'll talk about later in future minutes when he goes over the roster, when he's welcoming people.
I was wondering if who's the family on the coast? The Molinari family on the coast. I wonder if they were there.
I think they were, right?
Do you think Hyman Roth is there?
Yeah, doesn't he pick up the telephone and pass it to Barzini?
No,
that's Godfather 2. Yeah, that's Godfather. I'm just kidding. I knew that. I knew that. I swear. I knew that.
I think he used the gold telephone to talk to Barzini.
Oh, wait, did we cheer?
Well,
did we cheer for that one? Grammatically, it was a little off. Puzo writes, a bar had been set up and a small buffet. Pretty nice. I bet the veal at that buffet was pretty good. The best buffet veal in the city.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think it's the best in this. I don't think it's the juiciest in the quadrant or whatever the other categorization is.
The veal at a buffet sounds absolutely terrible. Maybe good enough for McCluskey standards, but each representative to the conference had been allowed one aide. Alex, who would you have brought?
If I'm me? Or if I'm who am I?
If you, Alex Robinson, and you are one of the heads, and you are the head of the Robinson crime family.
I guess I would
Polish mafia.
I would half Polish. I would bring my consigliere, I guess.
But who?
Oh, I don't know. That's a whole different matter.
Just pick. That's what I'm asking. Come on.
All right, it's you.
I do not accept the job.
What?
Because I'm.
Well, I don't deserve disrespect.
Because I'm Sonny. I'm next up, next in line.
You want a war on your hands? I'll give you a war. I can get you a war.
Most of the Dons had brought their consiglieres
Yeah,
as
it
aides.
seems like the natural.
So there were comparatively few young men in the room. Tom Hagen was one of those young men and the only one who was not Sicilian. He was an object of curiosity, a freak.
Wow.
Does that have a different meaning in 1960s lingo?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it just
freak.
means. I mean, I guess in the '60s it meant like someone who was, like a hippie was like called a freak. But I think in this sense they mean in the sideshow sense of the word.
Hagen Puzo wrote, Hagen knew his manners. He did not speak. He did not smile. He waited on his boss, Don Corleone, with all the respect of a favorite earl waiting on his king, bringing him a cold drink, lighting his cigar, positioning his ashtray with respect but no obsequiousness.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that?
It's good. You have to be, you can't be seen as too ass kissy. Mm-hmm. You have to be, seen as strong in your own way too.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be groveling.
Do you think Hagen knew that was part of the job when he was recruited? Was he?
Yeah,
he knew that he was going to be pretty much a manservant at these meetings.
Well, I mean, I'm sure to him it was the best job he was going to get. I mean, like the Don's the one who put him through law school. When he was like a street thug. What would he have done if So
yeah, still a good gig, right? He's at the buffet, just stuffing his face,
putting like shrimp in his pockets.
Oh, next time, get some German Irish sausages, get some potatoes.
Where are the brats?
Bring on the brats, Barzini. Puzo wrote, Hagen was the only one.
Start calling people Barzini is like, hey, how's it going, Barzini?
Oh, yeah. Well, do you remember a few months ago, was it Andrew Cuomo's son, who is the governor of New York's son, who was in the news because someone publicly had called him Fredo?
Yeah.
And he made a big scene.
Right.
Because he was so insulted by that.
Yeah.
So is it more insulting to be called Fredo or Barzini?
Well, Fredo's definitely the more insulting one. But Barzini's almost more of like a curiosity. Like, why? What about me is like Barzini?
I guess if someone's devious.
Yeah, I guess
pulling strings behind the scenes, double crossing.
It's true. Talking.
Yeah, okay, Barzini. We got to start doing that. Hagen was the only one in that room who knew the identity of the portraits hanging on the dark paneled walls. They were mostly portraits of fabulous financial figures.
Fabulous financial figures.
The triple Fs. Done in rich oils. One was of Secretary of the Treasury Hamilton. Hagen could not help thinking that Hamilton might have approved of this peace meeting being held in a banking institution. Nothing was more calming, more conducive to pure reason than the atmosphere of money.
Money!
I was going like...
Which song
I was going to do the... I was doing a knockoff of the, the classic guitar riff. Money.
But which song?
I don't want to use it because then we're gonna have to.
Which song though?
Go to the bank in the morning and pay for it.
But which song?
Who's the guy? A white blues guy. I can't want to say his name because we don't have to pay him, Alex.
That's not the money I was referring to.
Oh, which one were you?
I was doing
referring
Pink Floyd's Money.
Oh,
So which one are you doing?
that's the one that goes boom, 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 boom.
Yes,
boom,
that one.
boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. Anyway, to end it, Puzo writes, Don Corleone had been the first to arrive. One of his many virtues was punctuality.
I have to assume you get there first if you're hosting it. He had to make sure the buffet was okay, and
Oh, you think he was personally checking? Make sure that Bazzini likes gin.
Yeah.
Make sure you got the gin.
Yes, don't
got sangria. That's Italia's thing.
yeah, you don't think he would do all that?
Get some brats. Get some brats. We know the Molinari.
More wine. You don't think he would be? You don't think he would? Would he leave that to Tom?
I would think so. Yeah, I don't think the Don himself is gonna make all those arrangements.
Just maybe
Tessie.
Well, I'm saying that
Tessio, bring more brats.
No, that screws up all my arrangements.
perfect. We'll serve little canapes.
Tom, for you, we'll tape some brats underneath the pan. It's perfect. They'll never see it.
There's nowhere even in Brooklyn I can cook my brats.
So that's all I got for this minute, Alex. Like I said, in future minutes, Puzo writes a ton. He writes a whole chapter just on this meeting.
All right, so-
I may even recruit you to help. Well, to read this chapter, so together
that'd
we
be awesome.
can team it because there's so much in it.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
So next couple of weeks, everyone get ready.
Yeah, cool.
So we got to rate this sucker. We got to rate this sucker.
It's a pivotal moment.
I know.
Yeah. Okay, I got mine.
All right, I'm locked in.
I'm locked in too.
1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
Whoa! Now, why did you go the full 5? It was because of all those fabulous financiers of
Fabulous financial figures.
Yeah. Is that what with the final 5?
Partly because we've been talking about this minute for a long time. Really in the
long
bonus
time.
content more so.
Yeah, that's why I gave it
Only 4.
No, I did give it an additional boost.
Yeah.
Because
it's a cool scene too. I mean, it's a classic
Yeah, it's
scene.
true.
People know the scene.
Yeah.
Don Corleone's in it.
You hear him, or you hear someone who sounds like him.
So you're saying you deduct a point because it was an overdub.
It wasn't. It's not Marlon Brando. The guy's all, yes, thank you for coming to
The 5 families. Is that better? The 5 families.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I guess that'll wrap up minute 127. We're going to be recording some bonus content, more Brando facts coming your way.
Yep.
So until then, you could go to, if you're on Facebook, why not go to Fredo Corleone's Mickey Mouse Nightclub? We talk about all sorts of silly, goofy Godfather stuff there. All right. So
Until next time.
No!